What's up? Welcome back to a new video. Well, this is my first video on this channel, full form video. But yeah, World Cup starting in less than a week, and I'm gonna be making my predictions. So yeah, this is just my predictions, what I think will happen, and yeah, I've just done a lot of analysis, looking at the friendlies, looking at current form, looking at the teams and the players that they have, and I've just brought it all together to make this prediction, which I think is foolproof. So, starting with Group A, Mexico, South Africa, South Korea, and the Czech Republic. Now, interestingly, this group is very open. It is very open initially when looking at it, but it's very obvious who's going to top this group. And for me, that is Mexico. Mexico, they're the host nations this tournament, and more than anything, they're going to want to win. In previous editions, sure, they have been poor. They have been really, really poor, and as late as the last World Cup in Qatar, they got grouped. Although Argentina were in their group, but they did lose out to Poland, who are a great side in their own right, but a country like Mexico should be doing better. But I think this time, with the home support, especially in stadiums at the Azteca, but even in places like Guadalajara, I do believe Mexico will prevail and will top this group. Now, in terms of who will finish second, for me, it's between South Korea and the Czech Republic. So for that reason, South Africa is last. Look, no disrespect to South Africa, but they're the weakest side of this entire group. They did well in the AFCON. I don't know, was it the last edition or the edition before that, but they did well. They got far. And they were a fun nation, and hopefully they do well for their own sake. But me looking at the rest of the teams in this group, I just don't think they can compete. But now it's between Czech Republic and South Korea. Two very even teams, in my opinion. Some would argue that South Korea is significantly stronger, and I do hear that. They do have very good key players like Hang Hee-chan, Iron centre back, the PSG attacker, and Son, of course. So they have quality players, but do they have the performance, right? If you look at their previous games, they obviously beat El Salvador 1-0. They destroyed Trinidad and Tobago, but they lost 1-0 to Austria, and they lost 4-0 to the Ivory Coast. And if you look at the rest of the teams they beat, they're okay. They're small teams, right? So for me, Korea, as good as they are, I just think they won't be good enough. And for me, Czech Republic, yes, they have been poor. They haven't been great. And if you look at how they got to the World Cup, they scraped through. A draw and penalty shootout win against Ireland, and a draw and penalty shootout win against Denmark. So they are a decent side. I think it's going to be really tight between the two. Honestly, that game is going to decide who gets second. But I'm just going to back the European side and Patrick Schick. I think they will prevail in this tournament. So I'm going to go Czech Republic, then South Korea, and then South Africa. Group B. Group B is also a very interesting group, but again, with another host nation. But again, for me, it's quite obvious who's going to top it. Switzerland. Look, Switzerland, aren't a powerhouse by any means, but they're a team that's well organized. A team that has quality players and a decent manager. And I just feel like compared to the other three teams in their group, Switzerland are just levels above. So therefore, I feel like it's quite obvious to put them first, and not much more has to be said about that. In terms of last place, I'm just going to quickly go there. It's Qatar. They haven't been able to get enough prep in, and they had one friendly game recently, which was against Ireland, which I believe they lost 1-0. I think they have the old Real Madrid manager as well. Qatar, but I just feel like it won't be enough, and I think they will, unfortunately, not get anything from this World Cup. But now it's between Canada and Bosnia, and I've been going back to front with both of these sides because I believe either side can get second. Initially, for the longest time, I had Bosnia in second without a doubt, but looking more into it, Bosnia are a good side, and they did defeat Italy to get into the World Cup via the playoffs. You gotta give it to Canada because Canada have a solid team, and they're playing at home. Um, Obviously they have really good players like Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David, Buchanan. Some would argue they're not that good, but I think they're solid players. And recently in their friendlies, they've been decent. Like they beat Uzbekistan 2-0. They drew to Tunisia, drew to Iceland, which isn't ideal. But their last loss came against Australia back in October. So they're a solid side. And if we look at Bosnia, Bosnia have been doing okay. They drew versus North Macedonia in their last game. They do play Panama tomorrow, so we'll see where it goes from there. But I think it is a very close one to call, but just on the pure reasons why Canada is a home nation, I'm going to back Canada. So I'm going to back the Maple Leaf and go with Canada in second, Bosnia in third, and Qatar in fourth. Although I do feel that there is a good chance whoever finishes third in this group will still go through as one of the 8 best third place teams. But yeah, going on to Group C, in my opinion, is very straightforward, so I'm just going to fill it in. Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. For me, this is simple. Haiti last because even though they did recently win 4-0 in their latest game versus New Zealand, I don't see it. I just don't see it against Scotland. I don't see it against Morocco and obviously Brazil. I just think they will be bringing too little, and I don't want to get swayed by friendlies. Although I did use friendlies as examples, I'm not going to just say, oh, they won 4-0, so they must be good. No. Scotland are a solid side, so I can only see Haiti maybe getting something against Scotland, but honestly, if we're being realistic, that's not going to happen. So yeah, Haiti is last for me. As much as I love Brazil, I don't think they're going to go far, but I do think they will top this group. I think they will start very strong. I think they will beat Morocco, or at least get a draw. And I think they will top the group. I think Morocco second because, again, as I said, they are still a strong side. Although people might be expecting a bit more from them, I think they will still do relatively well. And Scotland in third. Scotland's really only in third because I just don't feel like they're on the caliber of Brazil or Morocco, but they are better than Haiti. So I don't really have much to say on Scotland, honestly. I just feel like they're a solid side with a solid manager and solid players. I think they can definitely get the job done against Haiti. So going on to Group D, the group of death, as some would say, and it very much is. It's a free for all, really. You have USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. In my opinion, this is a very difficult group to call. I obviously have how I think it will go, but I would not be surprised if who I have in first finishes in third, who I have in last finishes first. I really wouldn't be surprised. This group is one of the most evenly matched groups in the entire tournament, for me. So it is the most difficult to call. But in first position, I have Turkey. I know I'm saying Turkey weird. I just like saying Turkey because I think that's how you say it, but I might be wrong. I might be butchering it. The only reason I have Turkey at first is because I just really liked some of their players they have. Kenan Yildiz and Arda Güler and Çalhanoğlu. Those guys are game changers. When you are in this position, in this type of group where there's like nothing to separate the teams, you have those star players who can make a difference. Kenan Yildiz, Arda Güler, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Those are the types of players that are game changers. And I do believe that they are going to be the difference makers in this group. And that's why I got Turkey in first. We always say Turkey as this team that, is a team that we tend to overrate, in the 2021 Euros. I think everyone expected Turkey to be this underdog and they completely embarrassed themselves. So, yeah, they do have a history in terms of predictions, but I do believe that this year will be different and that Turkey will top the group. In second, I have the US of A, the United States of America. I have them second simply because same reasons to why I have Mexico in first and Canada in second. Home advantage. Home advantage is really big in this tournament, and I really do believe that with the support that the US have, is going to be incredible. And as well as the team, they have a really, really young, hungry team with Christian Pulisic leading the line. In their recent game, they beat Senegal 3-2, and they have a very good, strong, solid team, and with a really high quality manager in Pochettino. I think they will go far. I mean, not far, maybe not far, but they will get second in this group, and comfortably so. Because in third place, I have Paraguay. I really like some of their players, like Enciso, and they have Alderete. They have really good key players, and I feel like that's just going to be a bit too much for Australia. Australia historically have done well in World Cups, and have been a surprise, but I honestly think that this time, unfortunately, they will finish dead last. Now, on to Group E, which consists of Germany, Curacao, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ecuador. Three very strong teams, and I say three because unfortunately Curacao, I'm sorry, you're finishing dead last. Let's just get that out of the way. But for me, first, it's Germany. And the reason I have Germany in number one is simply because I genuinely believe that this team is really strong under Nagelsmann, and I expect them to go far and do well. Despite having Ecuador and Ivory Coast in their group, I expect nothing less than Germany first. More recently, I was debating Ivory Coast over Ecuador. Either team, in my opinion, can finish second, and whoever finishes third will still qualify for the round of 32, in my opinion. It's going to be really difficult to call. Because initially, I was thinking Ecuador over Ivory Coast, because Ecuador, for me, are an incredible team. They have not lost since 2024, which I believe they lost to Brazil. But they are a team that doesn't particularly score goals, but they are a team that can keep clean sheets. But they still have a solid attack. So my thing was, Cote d'Ivoire, they could go very good against Curacao. And maybe Ecuador gets a small win over Curacao. So maybe by goal difference, Ivory Coast will be ahead, but I don't know. I just went with Ecuador because I do feel like they're the better side. And again, they're very strong. Hincapié, Caicedo, Pacho, a really good overall team. And they have a good attack as well. Ivory Coast are also really good. They are a bit of a nation that's going under the radar. They did recently beat France, but I wouldn't look too much into that. But yeah, they're a solid side to keep an eye on. And Group F. Now, Group F is a very interesting group. It has the Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. For me, this Netherlands team is one of the best Netherlands teams I've ever seen in a long, long time. When you look at throughout their team, from the goalkeeper all the way to the striker, it looks super strong. And arguably, they have one of the best defenses, player for player, on paper, in the whole World Cup. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Netherlands to top the group. And in second place, Japan. Japan, for me, is a team that is very strong. It's a very well-organized team, and they have real quality players. And I don't need to say much more about Japan. I think Japan does the talk for itself. I think they are a very solid side. Now, Sweden and Tunisia are two teams I kind of do want to talk about. Tunisia is a side in the World Cup historically. They have done pretty well. They've been a surprising nation in certain tournaments and in tournaments prior. And Sweden themselves, they don't even deserve to be in this World Cup, if we're being honest. They failed to win a game during the qualification process, and the only reason they're here is because of the Nations League. But they do have quality. They have Anthony Elanga, they have Victor Gyökeres, they have Alexander Isak. They have quality players amongst their squad. they have Graham Potter obviously as the manager, and it's one of those things where I can see either team getting third or fourth, but I think the quality that Sweden have, they must show it. They must show up. So for that reason, I got Sweden in third and Tunisia in fourth. Now we're halfway through the groups as we move on to Group G. Now, this group is of Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. For me, Belgium, numero uno. I think Belgium are a nation that people are overlooking this World Cup. I think they're not giving credit for the type of team they have and the players that they have and the football they are playing. Recently, they beat Croatia 2-0. Of course, they drew to Mexico, destroyed the USA, and destroyed Liechtenstein. And if you look at their team, if you look at their defense, Onana, Salazmakers, Tielemans, Courtois, Jeremy Doku, Kevin De Bruyne, De Ketelaere, and then Thomas Meunier, Romelu Lukaku, Trossard will join the team as well. They have a really solid team, and I think they're playing really, really good football. And yeah, I think, again, they're a team that should do well, and I think will surprise a lot of people. I do believe they will do well this tournament. Will they win it? In my opinion, no. But they will go far, and they will challenge the big teams. Now, in terms of second, for me, it's between two teams. So before I get into that, New Zealand, they don't fill me with much confidence. They're a side that I just feel that are really struggling right now, and especially they just lost 4-0 to Haiti, and their star player Chris Wood has just been really poor for Forest, hasn't even been getting minutes, and if your star player is struggling, it's doomed from the start. So not much more to say on New Zealand. Unfortunately, they will finish last in this group. And now, similar to Group E, I've been having doubts. I initially had Iran ahead of Egypt because historically, Iran has been really good in these tournaments. Really, really good. Very surprising nation. But I think the dark arts will come into play. And as much as I don't want this to happen, I do believe it. What would happen if Iran finished second and the USA finished second? In the round of 32, in Dallas, I believe, USA will face Iran. Security-wise, the US does not want that to happen. That would be a tragedy, especially if they lose. This might be sounding super crazy, but I genuinely believe the USA will do everything in their power to make sure Iran does not finish second. I really do believe that. And the Iran-Egypt game, I believe, is in Kansas City. So this isn't on American soil. So Egypt will beat Iran and get the better of them. I do believe that Omar Marmoush will be the star player just after getting married. He's on top of the moon. So I think he'll be the top guy for Egypt. But yeah, unfortunately for Iran, I think the dark arts will come into play here and they will try to avoid playing the USA. Initially, I had them in second, but I think just because of the tensions between the Iran and the US, I just do not believe that they would allow something like that to happen. So I have Belgium first, Egypt second, Iran third, and New Zealand in fourth place. Now, moving on to Group H, one of the favourites for the tournament, Spain, is in, along with Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. For me, this is very obvious. Spain. They topped the group. It's very obvious. They're a very strong team, very cohesive team, a team that likes each other, plays together really well, and most importantly, no Real Madrid players. So the chances of them being successful increases so much. But no, all jokes aside, they are a solid side, and I expect them to go really, really far. Even win the whole competition. So I think this group will be no problem for them and they will finish top as group winners. Uruguay for me will finish second. Again, they're a solid team. I think they have a really good group of players. Obviously, Darwin Núñez gets his first time as the main man up front, and also Valverde and Araujo, two solid key players for Uruguay. And I think Uruguay overall just has a solid team and they won't really struggle versus the other two. Cabo Verde and Saudi Arabia. Now, Cape Verde is a team, they are Portuguese. And one guy, Lopez, he plays for Shamrock Rovers, I believe. Is their captain, their centre back, and he's a quality player. And recently, as I said, I don't take friendlies into account too much, but Cape Verde beat Serbia 3-0. Although Serbia weren't playing their strong team, they beat Serbia 3-0. They drew with Finland and they beat them on pens. They lost 4-2 to Chile. They drew with Egypt, drew with Iran. They are pretty decent side. And Saudi Arabia, they have invested so much into their football. These results are really worrying. Losing 2-1 to Ecuador, which is fair enough. 2-1 to Serbia, 4-0 to Egypt, drawing versus the UAE, losing 1-0 to Jordan. I don't think this will be similar to 2022, where Saudi Arabia won against Argentina and surprised everyone. I think it will be the total opposite, and this time Cabo Verde will surprise Saudi Arabia, and they will get third position. I just think Saudi Arabia are not in a good spot. I don't know if their manager, if they got a new one recently, but they're not playing great football. So I think there's a chance Cabo Verde could potentially beat Saudi, at the very least a draw. But yeah, there's a very strong chance Cabo Verde can beat Saudi, so don't write them off. Group I, a very interesting group as well. For me, France top it. France every year, they're the favourites to win the World Cup. Ever since they won it back in 1998, I think they've always been the favourites. And yes, some years they won, especially recently where they won in 2018 and they got all the way to the final in 2022. They have a really strong team, star-studded team, and they look decent playing together. Despite losing to Ivory Coast recently, I still believe that France should top this group. Now, in last place, it's Iraq. Look, I understand the path they had to go through. They had the hardest path to the World Cup. Very long path, most games to qualify. It was really difficult for them, but unfortunately, they will finish last in this group. Now, between Senegal and Norway is interesting because, for me, both sides are a very interesting team. Some will call Senegal the true African champions. But the true African champions, as of late, haven't been too good. They lost 3-2 to USA, but they did beat Gambia and Peru. But they done well in the African Cup of Nations. So I expect good things from Senegal. But for me, there's no way I can put Norway, led by Erling Haaland, in third place. I don't really care that the games are played in the US. I just feel like it's Erling Haaland. It's Norway. The players they have, the team they have. But I think the strength of that Norwegian team will be too much for Senegal. And for that reason, I have Norway in second and Senegal in third. But Senegal is a team that I do expect to bring the game to France and Norway. So there is a potential that they do finish second. But if they finish third, I do believe that they will go through for sure. Now, Group J. Group J, the GOATS group, Lionel Messi, Argentina. Look, this team hasn't changed much since the 2022 World Cup win. The same manager, basically the same starting 11 minus Di Maria and a few others. It's a solid team. And I do believe that Argentina will definitely top this group and will go far this tournament. And I think this group is really a breeze for them. So moving on. Jordan. Again, Jordan, I don't really have much hope for this side. I think they will finish last in this group, similar to Curaçao. I just don't believe that they will have anything to offer. Now it's between Algeria and Austria. For the longest time, I had Austria in second, and I still do. The reason I have Austria in second place is because of the players they have, but also the manager. Ralf Rangnick is a manager that I rate so much. I think when he was at United, he transformed United into a decent side. Some people didn't see it, but I saw it. I really liked how he was able to change how United played. And I really like what he did with Austria as well. And I expect him to continue that form. Algeria as well are a really solid side. And they have been decent. They beat the Netherlands, they drew to Uruguay, they destroyed Guatemala 7-0, they lost to Nigeria, but I just do believe that Austria, the way they play football, the manager they have, the players they have, will be the difference. And I do believe that Algeria versus Austria is the final game of the group. So it will be a very interesting game. But for me, I think Austria will just edge out Algeria. Group K, the group of the king, some would say. I would not. It is Cristiano Ronaldo's group. Look, Portugal going into this tournament are one of the favourites. They have arguably the strongest team in the whole tournament. If you look at their midfield, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, and João Neves. I mean, like, what more do you want? That's the best football midfield in the world. And yeah, I just think there is no doubt in my mind that they get first. If they'd fail to get first, if they even fail to win all the games, I think that would be a bit of a disappointment because I think their team is really solid, especially in defense. You know, people kind of look away from that, but they have Cancelo, Nuno Mendes, and they have Inacio. They have good, solid players in defense. Attack, you could argue they're lacking, but for me, with Conceição, João Felix, Rafael Leao, even though he's off form, on his day he can perform, and Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, they are a solid side, and I do believe that they will top the group. In second place, I have Colombia. Colombia, for me, is a dark horse. They're a team, I believe, that will go far and will cause problems for the bigger teams. They have a really good team, and they have really good players. Luis Diaz, who's in the form of his life, is incredible for Bayern. James Rodriguez in potentially his final World Cup, and Luis Suarez as well. I just feel that this Colombia team has a really good quality players and they play well together. And I do believe that they will finish second in this group. Now, third and fourth position. This is a very difficult one to call because I do believe both teams are very fairly matched. DR Congo and Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan are actually a very solid side. Obviously, they have Kusanov, their star player, and they have obviously lost recently to 2-0 to Canada and drew Venezuela, beat Gabon 3-1. Uzbekistan are a very solid side. They really are. But so are DR Congo. DR Congo, for me, is a really good side, and that's why I do believe that they will beat Uzbekistan. And the reason why I do believe that is because DR Congo is a very strong team. They have really strong players who can play for 90 minutes in the heat, in the more crazy climates. And I believe that's going to be the difference between Congo and Uzbekistan when they do play each other. I think the physicality is going to be too much for Uzbekistan. DR Congo will get the better of Uzbekistan, or they may draw, but I think the DR Congo will finish in third place. Now, Group L, the England group, is England, Croatia, Ghana, Panama. So, for me, England top this group, without a doubt. I think with Thomas Tuchel and the players England have, it's really solid. And I would be surprised if they don't get first. I think the other teams in this group aren't as good as England, and for me, they will go far in this tournament. For me, Croatia second. People are saying, oh, this Croatia team is old, it's aging, but it's really not. Like, even if you look at their older players like Luka Modric, they're still at the top of their game. They're arguably player of the season in their league, for their club. They're one of their best players. I still believe that they're going to do really, really well. And in third position is interesting. And as of late, Ghana has been poor. Really, really poor. They recently drew with Wales. They lost 2-0 to Mexico, 2-1 to Germany, 5-1 to Austria, 1-0 to South Africa, 1-0 to South Korea, 2-0 to Japan, and they won against Comoros, and they did top their World Cup qualification group. Panama, on the other hand, have been very impressive. They have beaten the DR 4-2. They did get trashed by Brazil, but that's Brazil. They beat South Africa 2-1. They drew with South Africa. They only lost 1-0 to Mexico. They're a side that intrigues me. They're a side that I believe can cause an upset. And this is one of their World Cups which I feel that they will want to perform. I do want to say put them third, but I'm having doubts because I just fear for them against England. I really, really do. It is their last game, and that's why they have the benefit. Ghana play Panama first, and it's going to be a massive game. But I'm going to go with the upset again. Go Panama in third and Ghana in fourth. The reason why I'm going with Panama in third is because I do believe they are better than Ghana at the moment, but also because they do play England last, and England might play their weaker side against Panama, which will give Panama a slight advantage there. So now we're looking at the 8 third best placed teams. So for me, let's get the obvious out of the way. For me, Scotland will obviously be one of those teams, beating Haiti. Côte d'Ivoire will also be one of those 8 teams. Senegal will definitely be one of those teams as well. I do think Algeria will make it as well. So that's half the teams. Now the rest of the teams are interesting because I cannot say 100% for certain. I think Iran will beat New Zealand. I think South Korea will get the better of South Africa. I think that Bosnia will get the better of Qatar. And finally, between Paraguay and DR, and I just feel like Paraguay, they excite me, so I'm going to go with Paraguay. Now, on to the knockouts. Now, I'm going to quickly run through this because, again, these could be completely different to what the actual knockouts could be. So, quickly, we're going to go with Germany to beat Scotland, for sure. France to beat Paraguay. Canada, Czech, I think at home. This is in LA, but I still feel like Canada will get the better of the Czech. Netherlands, Morocco. For me, I think Netherlands will go far and they will defeat Morocco. Colombia, Croatia. I said Colombia will bring it to the bigger teams. If you consider Croatia a bigger team, I think they will beat Croatia. Spain, Austria. As much as I love Ragnick and how he plays football, for me, it's Spain. Turkey, Bosnia. For me, Turkey is true. Belgium, Korea. For me is Belgium. As I said, I do believe they will go far. Brazil, Japan, incredible game. And I think Brazil will go through. Unfortunately for Japan, they will be knocked out. Ecuador, Norway. I think in this game, the defense will prevail. I'm going to go for an upset, some would say. Ecuador to beat Norway. Mexico versus Ivory Coast. This is in the Mexico City Stadium, and it's a very difficult one for me to call. As much as I want to say Mexico, the Ivory Coast, for me, they're just too strong. And unfortunately, they will be the first hosts to fall. Ivory Coast will take it at Mexico City. England, Algeria, for me is England. Argentina, Uruguay, a very likely matchup. And I do expect in the Miami Stadium, Messi's home turf, Argentina go through. USA, Egypt, a very interesting game. But I think the USA at home will do it. Switzerland, Iran. I think Switzerland, again, I think they are really nice put together team, so they should go through. Portugal, Senegal, for me, Portugal and Ronaldo will go through. France, Germany, 2 incredible sides. But for me, France, again, are very, very strong, very good individuals, but also a very good team. France go to the quarterfinals in Boston. Netherlands, Canada, this is where Canada's run unfortunately ends for them, and Netherlands are through to the quarterfinals. Colombia, Spain, as good as Colombia are, I don't think Spain will fall. So I think Spain to go to LA. And Belgium will join them. I think they will beat Turkey. And again, I said that they look really good, Belgium, and I do believe they will make the quarterfinals. Brazil or Ecuador, I think Brazil will give Ecuador what they gave them the last time by beating them, and Brazil go to the quarterfinals. Ivory Coast versus England. England to go through and beat the Ivory Coast and meet Brazil in the Miami Stadium in the quarterfinals. Argentina versus USA. Argentina to win against the US. Switzerland, Portugal. Again, I think it's Portugal. They are far too strong. Now looking at our quarterfinals. Now with our first quarterfinal, France, Netherlands. I am going to choose the French. And the reason I choose the French is simply because they are too strong. I think Netherlands, as much as I want them to do well, I just don't think they'll have enough to nullify the French attack of Elise, Kylian Mbappe, Cherki, and all the ones in between. I think they will struggle. So for me, France beats the Netherlands to go through. Spain, Belgium, look, as much as I like Belgium and I said they will go far, this is also going to be the end of the road for them. Spain defeats Belgium to move on to the semi-final. Brazil, England. This game, I did say Brazil. People think Brazil will go far. In my opinion, quarterfinal was the furthest they would go. If this match does happen, it will be a treat. But I do believe that England and Thomas Tuchel will get the job done against Neymar and Brazil. Argentina, Portugal, one of the greatest games of the World Cup, the game of the GOATs in Kansas City. For me, this is difficult because I'm a massive Messi fan. And for me, that Argentina team, when they play together and when they're on it and when they want to win, they win. Portugal is so strong. They are so strong. As I mentioned earlier, their midfield is so good. Knowing how good of a cohesive team Argentina is, I'm going to go with Argentina. Now the semi-finals, France, Spain, Argentina, England. France, Spain, for me, again, two brilliant teams. But if Lamine Yamal's on it, and for me, it's going to be a repeat of the Euro 2024 semi-final, and Lamine Yamal will be the difference maker and bring Spain to the World Cup final. And now the other semi-final, England versus Argentina. A very big game, a very classic game. The last time these two sides faced against each other was in the 2002 World Cup, where England did end up winning that game. And as a Messi fan, unfortunately, I think it's going to be the same result. I think England will defeat Argentina and advance to the World Cup final. So before we get to the final, I have not forgotten about the third place match, and that will be France versus Argentina, a repeat of the 2022 World Cup final. I think that Argentina will win. I think Messi will complete his collection of World Cup medals, getting that bronze medal and having the gold and silver to go along with it. And I think it will be a beautiful end to a beautiful story and to an amazing player. And now the World Cup final itself. It is a rematch of the 2024 Euros final, England versus Spain. And for me, it's going to be a repeat of that final, and España is going to win the World Cup for the first time since 2010. And they are going to be the new world champions. So, that is my World Cup predictions. Let me know if you agree or disagree. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have your own predictions, please feel free to leave it down in the comment box down below. And until next time, see you.